Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Skyblock Survival Guide. I hope you guys are having a good day, and what a lovely day it is to start off the episode on the doorstep of our brand new house. But today we're going to be back to the technical. We're going to be doing some tech stuff, including probably setting up an iron farm for the first time. Very excited to get the iron farm production on the go. It's been fun dragging the occasional iron golem over a campfire, but now I think we need something a little bit more permanent. And in the process of that, we're also going to allow for a little bit of infrastructure change around here. A lot of people have been getting very annoyed at me getting up and down a ladder every time I want to go and visit the villagers, so I think today we're going to install some water drops. We're going to install some soul sand bubble elevators. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff like that. I'm not going to be bothering with the magma block elevators because I still think they are overrated. They don't really move you down particularly fast and you end up taking damage at the bottom of them, whereas a simple water drop is a lot faster. So that's going to be the easy part. The hard part, of course, will be acquiring all of the kelp required for that, because you can't bone meal kelp, but I can get myself some seagrass, and now we have easy access to shears. I should have plenty of opportunity to craft myself some kelp using the seagrass recipe. For that, I think I'll probably head back over to the jungle island because that is the highest concentration of water. I just need to make sure I've got some bone meal with me and I've got a decently repaired set of shears. Let's go and craft ourselves some kelp. There we go. After a bit of swimming and shearing, I have myself over a stack of kelp, which should be enough to make sure we have water sources all the way from the bottom of the world up to here, which is what is required for a bubble column. Unfortunately, in Java Edition at least, you have to make a bubble column out of full water sources, and converting flowing water into full water sources with kelp is the easiest way to do that. Now, the problem right now is that I kind of want to make this out of glass and not cobblestone, because I think it's going to look a lot nicer if we have a glass tube and we can make sure that there aren't any issues with the bubble column at all without just getting stuck there or something. Maybe getting some villagers stuck in there would be probably even worse. So I think what I'm going to do is trade with my villagers until I have enough trades opened with the librarian that I can trade glass from them easily, because while the husk farm is kind of a good idea to have as far as the sand goes, it is unfortunately a little bit slow, and once we can trade glass freely with that librarian, we will have access to a whole lot of glass. Right now, I've got myself 5 emeralds and a few books because I was able to trade myself a few more mending books off camera. Going to be applying those to my tools and armor once I've got the enchantments that I want. But for now, I think the best thing to do is really going to be trading melons with that farmer. I've only got a couple of those grown right now, and we can probably harvest a few more of these crops. But yeah, I think I'll probably spend a little bit of time putting together a melon farm, and that way the melons will just be auto-harvested in the background, and we can trade with the farmer basically whenever we want. And while we don't have the luxury of being able to go the hopper minecart route yet and do a more advanced farm, I think it should be simple enough. No, not a minecart. I don't want a minecart. I want a hopper. There we go. Almost clicked on the minecart by mistake because I was talking about minecarts. I think it should be easy enough for us to set up an automatic melon farm over here and just have the melons pushed into a water stream. We are going to lose a few items in the process, but considering they're being made automatically, it's not going to be the biggest of deals. Let's get some coarse dirt to grow the melons on. We will probably just need a couple of redstone components for this. We could go the observer route if we wanted to, and I think that's probably going to work out for the best. You know what? I think I'm going to build the platform out with a little bit more natural stone. I'm kind of tired of looking at cobblestone at this point, and ultimately I want to naturalize the landscape. Cobblestone doesn't really occur naturally except where lava and water meet, so I think I'm probably going to start using regular stone from now on. That's going to take a little while to smelt in here, but I could probably add another stack or two of cobblestone to the furnaces nearby. So in order to make our melon farm, we're going to have a strip of dirt, and some of this is going to be hoed in just a second. We will probably want to put a barrier of jungle planks on this side here just to make sure that we have a nice easy water channel, and I think at the end here we're going to be placing our hopper facing outwards into an output chest there. We can probably manage to alternate like so that we make sure we have, yeah, a bit of farmland in between each of those. Water bucket can go here. We'll put our output chest there, we'll put our hopper there, and some sort of stair block or something, or a trapdoor on top of it, just to make sure that the items don't overflow and end up despawning on the chest. There we go, trapdoor on the end, nice and easy. Hopefully all of this water should be hydrating the farmland as required, and in those farmland spots we can start to plant our melon stalks. Remember that melons will need a solid block of dirt, grass, or farmland on either side of the stalk to grow the melon in the first place, and we're going to be detecting the melon in the middle with an observer, which I guess I will have to craft out of some of the quartz I've been getting from blazes. I've only got enough for one observer right now, or is it 2 redstone and 1 quartz? I forget. I always forget the observer recipe. There we go, 2 redstone and 1 quartz it is, so I actually have enough to craft 3, which is almost all I need. I should need 4 for this, so yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now let's grab these melons which have just spawned. Let's actually break those down. Oh, I guess you can't uncraft melons, can you? Just punch it with my fist then, and we can turn the melon slices into melon seeds, which we get 3 of as well, so that will work for the first 3 observers. Let's bone meal these stalks so they are fully grown, and at that point the observer is now going to be detecting the change in state when the stalk bends over to attach to a melon that grows either side of it, and that's going to fire the pistons, much like it did in our original melon and pumpkin farm that we built in the survival guide. We're not going to do the advanced one quite yet, unfortunately. And the way we want to orient this is to have a plank behind each of these observers, so we're going to place one there, and one there, and 1 block down we place planks behind each of these pistons so that each of those can have a single dot of redstone dust on it. And now anytime the observer receives a signal, which it should have done, yep, there we go. Yes, it actually fires the pistons on both sides of the observer, but hopefully that should mean that there will be a melon caught in front of it. And that is going to break the melon down into slices, so it's slightly less efficient than manually harvesting these with Silk Touch, but it's all going to happen automatically in the background, which is going to make it a lot easier for me. I'm still going to keep the manual farm here, of course, because we've got a Silk Touch axe. We can get those melons nice and easily, and the more the merrier at this point. I don't have enough redstone components to make this farm particularly large at the current time, but, you know, we could always double up on the pistons on this opposite side here when we have the chance. So I'm just going to quickly hop through to the nether, get myself a few more pieces of quartz from the blazes, and hopefully we should be able to finish off this little melon farm before we do anything else. And there we go, folks. The melon farm is complete, waiting for it to fire for the first time. I did throw a couple of melon slices in there that I farmed manually to get that last little set of seeds, and now this whole thing should be fully operational. We've got another redstone dot behind there. I didn't forget it that time around. I also got a little bit more quartz so that we can make some more observers for some other farms, and not only that, but I also got my second wither skeleton skull after actually only killing 8 wither skeletons. So I don't think the drop rate in this is necessarily increased, because I did stick around and kill a few more wither skeletons. If I go into my stats, I think I'm up to, 13 right now. Unlucky for some, lucky for me, it turns out, but I still don't have another skull. So I'm thinking it's probably just the average drop rate, and I ended up getting lucky. But even so, we are 2/3 of the way to being able to fight the wither. Not that I plan on doing that here, but maybe once we unlock the end, we can try cheesing it under the bedrock portal until I've built up a little bit more around here and I feel confident in taking on the wither in the overworld. Where's our friend the Fletcher? There he is. Okay, let's trade a few of those sticks. Hopefully this should get us a handful more emeralds. We can now buy some crossbows from him if we wanted to, which is quite an interesting one. Let's see where the cartographer is hanging out. There you are, my friend. Have some paper. And the farmer is over here trading for some melons, which gives us 33 emeralds, which should be enough for us to buy all of 3 mending books. Oh, so close to getting the librarian out of novice rank and into something a little bit more interesting. Hopefully there is a glass trade waiting for us further down the line. There we go. The trade upgrades are happening. He's trading fire protection too, and he's also trading lanterns, which I think I am going to buy from him en masse, mostly because that's a pretty expensive trade, but also because I kind of like having lanterns and it means we don't have to waste the iron on them. Now he's trading glass. Now we're talking... Oh, and a Power 3 book as well. I don't really want to make much use of that, but the mending trade, once again, is far too important to me. There we go. Now we are cooking with glass at long last. Great stuff. Thank you so much, Mr. Librarian. I'm sure I will be able to grab some more emeralds to trade with you fairly soon, but that at least means we can start working on the glass column that's going to replace the ladder for my way of getting up and down. I also wonder if it's possible to silk touch turtle eggs with an axe instead of a pickaxe. I don't know if a pickaxe is technically a requirement for that, but if it isn't, I'm considering getting rid of the turtles and compacting my turtle farm basically down to a bunch more eggs that I can replant whenever I want to, because the turtles might be taking up the passive mob cap along with the sheep, and I kind of think having this many turtles is sort of unnecessary when they don't really do very much. So once again, brutal as it is, I'm thinking in terms of Skyblock, I'm thinking utilitarian sort of stuff, and I'm thinking the turtles don't really have much much of a use right now, so I might just release them all into the void or something. Well, folks, I have two pieces of good news. The first of which is I was finally able to trade enough with my librarian to get a whole bunch of glass, and with that we now have a complete water tube all the way down to the bottom of the world, or at least it's not a water tube yet, but it will be shortly, because I think I can waterlog this ladder at the top here, and that will suspend the water block as we travel down, taking out these ladders as we go. And I will make sure to bring the kelp with me so that we can then turn all of the blocks as we come back up into water sources, and hopefully I'll be able to reach the top without worrying too much about being able to breathe. But in case we need a little bit of water breathing, I can grab my turtle shell helmet. I could also make a water breathing potion since we have fished up some pufferfish, but I don't think that should really be necessary at this point. The other piece of good news as we come down towards these turtles in a sort of noisy fashion is that I was able to breed the turtles up a couple more times and got myself a whole cluster of turtle eggs, and the Silk Touch axe is an adequate tool to get the turtle eggs. You don't have to have a Silk Touch pickaxe specifically, it can be a Silk Touch anything that can break the turtle eggs with Silk Touch should be able to claim them. So I'm going to put 2 ladders there, and that should be enough to block off the water to this section. In fact, I'll probably put a 3rd there, and at the bottom here, we're going to place a block of soul sand, and that should be enough to turn this whole thing into a water column once we have enough kelp placed in here. Looks like we will need that turtle shell helmet after all, so I'm going to quickly give myself some... Nope, this isn't working very well. Let me dive down to the bottom here and get some air. Oh, there we go. That's the closest I've come to dying, I think, in this entire Skyblock series. But yeah, hopefully we should be able to step in there, and we'll get up there in the top right-hand corner. You can see a little bit of water breathing effect. Only lasts for about 10 seconds with the turtle shell helmet, so unfortunately it's not going to be all that useful, but we should just benefit from a little bit extra there. And as long as I swim upwards at some speed, I should hopefully be able to place a little bit of kelp as we go. Yep, that's fine. That should be enough now. Those respiration bubbles wearing out a little bit, but yes, okay, the turtle shell helmet has proved its use. Excellent stuff. We are now able to turn this entire thing into a bubble column. Brilliant. Now here is an interesting question. Do waterlogged slabs still break your fall in the same way that regular water does? And am I keen to give that a try right now? Not really. I kind of want to see if that works, but I'm not going to worry about it now. Instead, I'm going to build up the area around here. I realized that I couldn't place blocks any lower than this, of course, because we're at the level of the void, so I think I might hedge my bets and just create a water puddle here. There we go. That should be enough, but I may as well grab a water source from one of these as well. Or you know what? We could break this. We could create our bubble column now, and then I'll head up to the surface and grab myself some water sources from there. Soul sand block going in. This is now a bubble column, and whoosh, yes, all the way back up to the surface at lightning speed, much faster than climbing a ladder, and we can collect all of the kelp up here at the top. So let's grab another water source from here and take the plunge. We have to make sure I avoid landing on that block to the left, because that could be a little bit of fall damage, and oh, heart in mouth, but we have made it. There we go, folks. All right, let's turn this into a proper 3x3 of water sources, and maybe I'll go into a test world, or maybe I'll set up something here in the Skyblock world where I can test the waterlogged slabs. But for now, water sources in this little pool is going to be good enough for me. And just because we now have a water elevator to this surface island doesn't mean we can't take that water elevator a little bit further. My idea to get the villagers up to this area and to have them drop into the iron farm is going to be to extend this upwards a few, about a dozen blocks or so, and then have them go along water streams up here. The idea being that, of course, we can direct them to wherever we want them to go using water streams without having to worry about the hassle of transporting them using boats or hopper minecarts or anything like that. We can have a nice, cost-effective setup using just these water streams. I might even make some of these sections a little bit higher with the woods just so that they don't end up jumping out. But we're not going to need to worry about that too much first off, because we're not going to be bringing the villagers up here. We're going to start with the zombie. And the way I have set this up over here with the cauldron that the zombie stands in is that it's aligning itself against these back trap doors. If it ends up standing on the lip of the cauldron on any of the other sides, that becomes a problem, but hopefully we should be able to convince it to jump into that central pit of the cauldron and maybe stand over here behind the trapdoors to lure it in that direction, so it ends up standing in the cauldron, block over its head, and then that should be that. Hopefully that is going to work out. In fact, I might make that slightly easier on myself by taking out this trapdoor. It shouldn't be able to stand on that because of the 1 block gap there, and I should just be able to go pop and pop a block over the top of its head for the time being. Replace that with a slab later. The whole problem is we have to do this under cover of night, meaning that I will probably need to light this up, but more importantly, we need to make sure that we can go down to the bottom of the world and bring a zombie up. Alternatively, we could get a zombie from around here, but I have a feeling that farm at the bottom of the world might be taking up the mob cap. I also want to be precise. I want to make sure it is a zombie we're getting and not anything else, and I don't really want to risk anything else coming up here, like a creeper spawning around here and blowing up some of the stuff that I have prepared already. So I think it's probably going to be best if we try and lure in a zombie from our little farm at the bottom of the world, also as a bit of a test for moving the villagers in the first place. Once the zombie is in position there, we can count off 4 blocks between that and the start of the bed that's going to form the cell for the villagers to sit in, and we're probably only going to make a single cell iron farm for the villagers, simply because there is going to be a lot of iron produced there, and we really don't need all that much iron here in Skyblock now we've got iron tools on the go. So I think it's going to be nice and straightforward just having a single cell of villagers with only 3 villagers in it. Should produce enough iron golems to keep us going for the foreseeable future. And while having a larger iron farm might prepare us for the long-term vision of what we're going to do here in Skyblock, I think a small iron farm will make do for the short term, and then potentially we can make some improvements to it a little bit later. How has an iron golem spawned all the way over there? And we also have one over here, which is kind of hilarious that he's managed to cross over the trapdoors potentially. But yeah, I have a feeling that guy is going to put a bit of a wrench in our plans, so let me go and get a lead so we can deal with those two. He seems to be doing a pretty good job of mob farming for us, though. He's even left a couple of slime balls for me. But no, this guy probably needs to make his way over here if we're going to successfully capture a zombie, and I'm going to have to do this part pretty fast because otherwise we will end up with, yep, zombies coming over the trapdoors to mess with us. I think not, baby zombie. I think not. The question remains, how are we going to get these zombies to follow us into this water tube? And I think I might be able to get one to follow me if... Whoa, no. Don't want to be swept off the island just yet. Thank you. I was in my menu. That was rude. I think I'll probably put a couple of signs here to block the water flow off and try and stand on the opposite side of this water stream to see if the zombie just walks into the water column of his own accord. And if he does, mission accomplished, problem solved, right? But let's see. Oh, we have one there holding some string. This could be an ideal candidate. Means we don't need a name tag for him. Yep, I will try and get onto the other side of this, which will be easier said than done. Oh dear, let me try and run away a little bit here and get something that I can use to pillar. My next trick is going to be jumping over him and using a melon to get up on top of this, because I wasn't really quite prepared for that. I was probably going to use a trapdoor or something to get myself over there, but in the meantime, nope. Looks like he is pathfinding towards me, okay. Hopefully he should stay aggroed on me, and now if I'm over here, yay, we did it. Lovely stuff. Great work. And phase 2 is going to involve going after it, primarily. Now, I need to make sure that I can hop up here and make sure the zombie has not gotten lost somewhere along here. I'm hoping he should have just made his way straight into the cauldron, or near enough, and just in time for me to throw a block above his head. Oh no, I left the block there. What was I thinking? Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm lucky that he ended up wandering back in there trying to get at me. Now I am standing over the top of him. No, he looks like he's in the cauldron. Okay, now hopefully I should be able to pop a glass block above his head. We'll need something solid to go over there, but all I have on me right now is a bunch of transparent blocks. Luckily, it is raining, and currently we have no sunshine, which means the zombie will not burn in the sunlight. That went about as smoothly as it could have gone. It seems like he is occupying the full space of those 2 blocks, which means he isn't standing down inside the hitbox of the cauldron yet, but that's fine. If I get to the other side of the trapdoors, I think I should be able to coax him into the right position. For now, I'm going to take this away and I'm going to place a stone slab above his head. That way, regardless of what he does on this block, even if it becomes daylight in the meantime, he should not be able to burn. So this next part could potentially be a little bit dangerous. I'm going to pillar up near him over on this side and try and work my way around on the off chance that hopefully we'll be able to get him to drop into the cauldron of his own accord. Zombies are notoriously hard to get into the cauldron in the first place. That's one of the trickiest parts of making these iron farms. So our other option is potentially to build a platform around the sides of the cauldron, use a trapdoor to get myself into a crawling position, and then nudge him into the cauldron a little bit. And that should hopefully align him into the hitbox of the cauldron a little bit more easily, but that's going to potentially be a hazard to me, and that's why I'm building out a bit of a wider platform here to make sure that I don't end up falling off into the void. If I take a little bit of knockback, that could be the end of me. So if I'm standing on the other side of this trapdoor, I don't know if he can really see me down here, but oh, no, yeah, he did see me, and he walked across. Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. Oh, dear me. Well, thank goodness I landed in the sheep farm. That was my first death in this Skyblock world, and I think some of my items might have gone off the side. Well, it looks like some of it survived at least. Thank goodness we built the sheep farm down here in the first place. I've got my helmet on me still. Looks like some of the tools might have gone over the side in the end. Oh gosh, I'm writing signs all over these sheep at this point. Yeah, looks like I did lose a little bit of my tools, some of my armor and torches and stuff in that little accident, but no worries. We have plenty of backups, and we can always trade with the villagers to get a couple of more. So we're in a pretty good position at this point. Looks like I also lost my bucket of water in that, but luckily I have enough iron to make myself another bucket, so that's not a huge problem either. I've even got the 4 leads, and I should probably leave those in there because I guess we got slime balls. We could make some more if we wanted to, but yeah, let's stick all of the remaining gear in here so I don't end up losing it this time. Probably, you know, we can leave that bow in there, not a big deal. It could have been worse though. I could have just fallen straight into the void, which would not have been the desirable outcome at all. So all in all, I think we did okay. Now let me get myself into a crouching position down here, and once we're crouched, oh no, looks like he has just made it into the cauldron. So maybe if I open this up, I can put... Oh, no, he's immediately seen me at that point. Not the best. Maybe if I walk around here, encourage him to walk towards me over the hitbox of the cauldron, maybe we can try and get him back into that position. But he was in the ideal position there for just a fraction of a second, so hopefully we can get that sorted out. I will need to take this trapdoor out of the way, but that was just there to align him in the first place, so as long as I don't open the trapdoor next to him, we should be fine. He is bobbing around the cauldron a little bit. Yes, there we go. We've got him. Okay, that is all I needed to do up here. Thank goodness. And he is now aligned in that cauldron. Even if we took those trapdoors out now, he shouldn't be able to leave, but I have no means to remove the blocks around him at all because I ended up losing my pickaxe into the void. But either way, we have our zombie in place, and it only took a silly death in order to get me there. Right, let's go down here. Let's grab a few more tools from the villagers. Looks like the mobs on the platform down here have all despawned, and possibly even thanks to our friend the Iron Golem here. Hubert, what have you got for me, buddy? Give me another pickaxe, please. Thank you so much. Oh, well, it's not like we fell into the void with anything we couldn't replace. And remember, everything can be replaced in Skyblock except saplings, so bear that in mind. All right, now, I guess we can grab the rest of the diamond armor. In the meantime, I can always put that back on for the sake of it. Not that I'm planning on encountering anything else hostile, but hey, I wasn't planning on being hit into the void by a zombie. I might even have a couple of tools up my sleeve in the form of the stuff that I stuffed into this little selection of chests in the last episode. Yeah, we have plenty of stuff. We got another shovel in there. I think the shovel was one of the ones that I kept after that. And yeah, we've got plenty of swords. We could always use that smite sword. I'm kind of tempted to use it on the zombie right now, but revenge is not what we're after here. I've got at least another silk touch axe and a few other things still to my name. But now we've got the zombie in position, all we need to do is set up the villager cell and then back this water stream off a little bit. I've just cut it off with a sign there. The villagers should drop straight through into the holding cell where they are going to be hanging out and getting scared by the zombie repeatedly. And above the zombie, of course, we're going to build the same Iron Golem spawning platform that we are used to from the Survival Guide world, just surrounded by fences with fence gates on either side and strips of water in the middle to make sure the golem falls out to one side or the other. As far as killing the iron golems goes, I think I'm just going to have them fall on top of a campfire. The campfire is going to deal damage to them in much the same way as magma blocks would. It's not going to be as fast or efficient as lava, but potentially the only way of getting a lava source in Skyblock is to fight the wither, which drops a bucket of lava in this data pack. A campfire, on the other hand, is nice and easy to obtain, and you can have the iron golems take damage on it. Any items that fall on it can be pulled through by just a hopper instead of having to worry about the hopper minecart setup that you would have with a magma block, and around it we can put a series of water sources that just carry any drops that fall off of the campfire down towards another set of hoppers, and it should be fairly straightforward to set up. Okay, I've gone ahead and set up the villager cell up there. I've selected 3 professions with whom I haven't really traded all that much and who I kind of think of as expendable in terms of the villagers that we have down there, and it's a shepherd, a cartographer, and a butcher. We have a smoker up there behind that third bed, and this is the same setup as we have in the Minecraft Survival Guide world, but it is 3 beds and a block there with a trapdoor on it with a water source. The trapdoor there is waterlogged, and that's going to allow the villagers to bob up and down in the water so that they can hopefully get an eye line on the zombie. I might need to remove those slabs from around the top of the zombie as well for their eye line to work out, but hopefully it should work out just fine. I still need to place in the water on that platform, and I still need to place in an area underneath where the iron golems are going to be collected. But first of all, I want to test if it is possible to get a villager into this area in the first place. I'm hoping it is, because I've set up little barriers around the top there to make sure that they don't end up floating up in the water source. The zombie is going to sink in water, so it wouldn't be affected by that regardless, but there's a chance the villagers might be able to get up onto the wooden rampart area of this whole thing. We could always put a line of planks along the top there if we needed to, but hopefully we shouldn't need to worry about that. The next question, of course, is how am I going to separate out those three professions from all of the other villagers in here? And the answer to that is carefully, patiently, probably with a little bit of nudging, and probably in much the same way as we've been messing with the iron golems in here by getting them into this little holding cell one by one and doing much the same thing as we did with the zombies. I don't think we can really lure them across this area here, but hopefully we should at least be able to coax them into the right place. I guess we could have used the fisherman as well. His barrel would be another good workstation to use. Let's see if we can get one of these guys out of here, though. Let's nudge him on through. Now, the question is, can I get him through this little corner here? Doesn't look like I can, so I might have to remove that fence there and nudge him into position there. Okay, now he should have pretty much nowhere to go but up and away he goes. Hopefully he should still retain his cartography profession. Considering where the sun is, I think he should just remain a cartographer at this point. In he goes, and plop. Perfect. Okay, he's in, and that should be him all set for the foreseeable future, as long as he doesn't change professions. So let me try and get the shepherd and the butcher up here as well, and then we should basically have the makings of an iron farm. Okay, looks like our guys are making their way downtown, and hopefully we should find the two of them in there have kept their professions. This shepherd is joining them, and look, we have an iron golem already. It is that quick, ladies and gents. Well, we're going to have to nudge this guy off the platform, I think, because I really have nowhere else for them to go at this point. And once the shepherd is in position, we can just make sure that all of the blocks around here are removed so the golems don't have any chance of hitting the zombie if they end up pathfinding towards him. Yep, there we go. Down you go. And iron golems don't actually take any fall damage, so that one is just going to hang out in the pen with the shepherds for a while. You'll also see that it is turning nighttime right now, and we need to check on the villagers and whether or not they are able to sleep, because them being able to sleep in the beds, however temporarily, is kind of the vital component of this farm, and making sure, yep, okay, they are glitching in and out of the beds a little bit, and that is good. I mean, I say glitching, that's not really what it is. They are just getting into bed temporarily and then realizing they're being scared by a zombie, and that should mean that they're able to continue producing iron even throughout the night, which is precisely what we want at this point. Another thing I'm curious about is whether, in the absence of these three villagers, their fellow villagers down there in the breeding area might produce some more. I'm not sure if they are far enough away to be considered not part of that village anymore, but I would assume that that is the case, especially since they are producing iron golems independently and doing it at quite a rate now as well, which is perfect. But because they take quite so long to die on these campfires, I'm thinking we probably need to make sure the iron golem is moved out of the range that villagers can detect there is an iron golem nearby, meaning that I'm going to pillar up from this sheep platform here, it seems like the most sensible thing to do, and probably build a collection area maybe like 20 or 30 blocks down. I don't think that is necessary entirely. I think it's more like 16 blocks, their detection radius, but I do just want to make sure that iron golems, A, don't spawn down there, and B, don't end up being detected by the villagers once they are in that position. So I'm going to pillar up from the bottom of the world here until I'm maybe, 24 blocks underneath this area, and that's where we're going to start the area that's going to capture the iron golems. Well, the trap is now laid. We have ourselves a little hourglass-shaped pit down here into which the iron golems should fall. I could probably simplify the design a little bit once I have a bit more iron, but I was really hoping to get a few more campfires and hoppers set up underneath that and have the whole thing networked a little bit so that every hopper would feed into each other and they'd all lead to the same output chest. It's a little bit of a cobbled-together setup for now, and now I'm just waiting overnight because I've noticed iron golems weren't spawning while I was working on it, and I think it's because the villagers don't each have a chance to sleep or attempt to sleep in those beds while I am hopping in and out of my bed during the day. So we're actually going to have to give this a little while for it to kind of warm up, and we might have to let it be night a little bit more frequently, which is going to mean making sure that I take care of the mobs that are currently spawning on my house. But I think overall we shouldn't have too much trouble with this iron farm once it is good to go. Well, folks, it's the third night, and I'm happy to report that the iron golem farm is now fully fully operational. I actually went over and broke and replaced the beds, and I don't know if that made any difference to the villagers targeting them as their own personal points of interest, but I even had the camera account logged in to monitor this farm while I was working a little bit more on the interior of the house, and as I said, I'm happy to report that, yes, you can see it there, the iron golems are now spawning, and they're all dying on the campfire. They fall into this hourglass-shaped trap. Occasionally, they get caught on the corners there. The water streams are not my best work, but it's just a matter of time before another golem spawns and carries them both down into this pit, where they both are large enough that they do not get stuck in the corners there. They actually fall around the campfire and stand on the campfire because their hitboxes are too large to let them fall into a one-block space. And so the campfire slowly but efficiently takes care of them, and the iron either gets spat into that central hopper or diverted into the water stream next door. Now, I could probably improve this by bringing it down one step lower just so that golem didn't have such a hard time getting into the pit there, but aside from that, I have to say I'm pretty happy with how this has come together. I'm glad the campfire idea worked out. It's a lot cheaper than having to go and get another bucket of lava or even using magma blocks, because underneath those you'd have to have a minecart rail with a hopper minecart collecting all of the stuff, which means spending a little bit more iron in this case. But now we should have iron aplenty to spend on a system like that for some other kind of farm in the near future. I think the only thing I have left to do is work on some sort of way of going down there so I can collect the drops rather than come up from the sheep farm every time. I think I might make some sort of basement layer to this island, but I think that is something I can save until the next episode. So folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Skyblock Survival Guide. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.